waiting to load at a rack, waiting in line. It's a little bit chaotic here today, but most of the guys that come through here, and I say guys with intention because I almost never see any other women hauling fuel, and when I see them I'm like, hey, cool, where's my spoon? Just making myself a little snacky for when I get back on the road. We're doing this tuna today, which should be pretty tasty, and some mixed greens. I can't get it to focus on what I wanted to, but anyway, it's some spinach and arugula mix, which is one of my favorite mixes, and some baby carrots. Yesterday, when I get tired, when I get to a certain level of tired, I just eat what I feel like eating. I ate so much crap yesterday. I was just like, sugar. Sometimes I just get to a point where I'm just not going to worry about it. Just going to eat whatever I feel like I need to eat to get through the day. Could be worse. Could be doing, see, I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound judgy, but I could be doing like nicotine, which the old me would have been all about it. We said this in videos a couple of times before, that there was once a time when I remember taking this road trip, and it was from Chicago down to like the Birmingham area where my mom lives. And I was still, that was right before I quit smoking. It was in January 2016, and I think I quit in February. No, I think it was actually, I don't remember exactly. I think it was February. But I remember driving down there and back, and I was like, there's no way I could handle doing road trips without cigarettes. Like, how does anyone do that? And it's funny, and now I realize like the way that I get through it is I can't overdo caffeine, because you can't afford to be stopping a million times to pee when you're driving a truck. I can only do so much with sugar, so that's why I do my best to moderate it with fruit, you know, because I'm like, well, there's a lot of fiber in fruit, there's water, it helps you stay hydrated. You can't overdo fruit, because if you do, your digestive system will revolt, which I've had happen to me a few times. I have this little thing next to my seat. It's supposed to be a little travel garbage can, but I actually use this to keep, I have it attached to my seatbelt thing, and I have, right now there's a banana, an apple. This variety of apple is so good. It's Sugar Bee. They're selling them at Walmart right now. They're super good, super crisp, perfect amount of like balance of sweet and sour. And then I've got a couple of clementines, and that's, I almost never eat any fruit when I'm home. But when I'm on the road, I do, because it just keeps me going. It helps me maintain the energy level that I need. So sometimes you just gotta change it up a little bit. But anyway, I'm making my snack. I need to get on the ball and get this ready to go, because it's gonna be my turn to load in a couple minutes here. But yeah, I'm heading back home for home time. It's a little bit of a logistical challenge for them to get me back home. I'm going to end up deadheading a fair amount of the distance, but I'm gonna be home for 4 days, and I'm really excited to be home and to be out of the truck and just change it up. So hello from the end of a very long day. I'm nuking up some chicken tikka masala, or the microwave equivalent, which actually isn't terrible. And I'm enjoying one of my favorite new NA drinks. This is I guess it's a rendition of Prosecco. Is it focusing? I hope so. Anyway, it's great. 0.0% alcohol, so it is truck friendly and sobriety friendly. And I never really focus too much on like days or anniversaries, because I've been to many meetings over the years. I really miss going to meetings. Even though my recovery feels strong, I would still be going if it worked with my schedule, because I love being there to support other people, and I love to just have the community and all of that. Before going into recovery, I never knew it could be like that, and if I had, I would have started doing it sooner. But one of the things that is really helpful about being in meeting settings is hearing other people say things that resonate with you and help you come to realizations in yourself. I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories from older participants who had been doing sobriety on and off, or doing recovery on and off, or had been sober for long periods of time, and then for some reason they just decided that, oh, I'm not gonna have this same struggle anymore, and then they like gave in to the temptation, and then they ended up back where they were before. And so I always think to myself, like, any day could be day one. So why go there? You know, everything's great. Why mess it up? So anyway, that's a little side note. I always love to talk about recovery stuff, but I don't get into it a whole lot. But I really love this pseudo Prosecco. They should call it that. That would be a better nickname. It's this brand, Lyre, Lyre. I don't know if that's supposed to be a double entendre. Lyre's Classico, which they have, the names of their drinks are sort of like reminiscent of the name of what they're trying to imitate. And they have one that I think is sort of like a Negroni, and one that is like maybe sort of like a dark and stormy type of rum drink. These types of drinks don't work for everybody in recovery, because some people can't have something that's too much like the real thing, or it can be kind of triggering, and for other people it's okay. This seems to work well for me. It doesn't make me want to drink wine. It makes me feel like kind of like I am drinking wine, and it's been long enough since I have had real wine. Oh, I started to say that and then I went on a whole tangent, but last week marked 6 years since I've had any alcohol, which is great. And like I say, 6 years, great. It feels good, but it's also, I don't think of it as like I'm cured now, because any day could be day one. So anyway, I had a long, exhausting day, all 14 hours. I started off with a much needed truck wash. I had 18 layers of limestone dust on my truck, but then as soon as I got to the Blue Beacon, this huge storm rolled in, and I was like, oh, maybe this is a bad idea. But the way my truck was, it was actually good that I did get the truck wash, even though it rained after that. It just had layers of grime and it needed it. And otherwise had a pretty solid day, but the first day back from being on home time is always really difficult. I'm just always off my sleep balance. So I need to put this down and wind down and go to sleep. But I just wanted to share, in addition to a nice sobriety milestone, I also am about to mark a major milestone for myself in my trucking journey / like personal financial wellness journey, which is I am about to make my final credit card payment on the debt I've been chipping away at since I started trucking 2 years ago. And it was at a point before I started trucking that I knew if I didn't get a handle on it, it was going to get out of control. And that was before the interest rates started going crazy. I wish for everyone to experience freedom from debt, because it's a shitty condition to live in. But I'm really excited to share that I am one step closer to being debt free. The next step is student loan debt, which is major, but there will be some news on that front at some point. I am quite sure. I think. You never know. They like to play these mind games with you. But no more credit card debt. And that's on account of the fact that I got myself a really, really good job after paying my dues for a couple of years and scrapping and living on the road without a place to call home for a while, so I could divert rent money toward my credit card debt, and now finally having a job that pays me what I feel like I'm worth, and I couldn't be more grateful. So that's it for the evening. I will get back to you guys soon. Good morning, my darlings. How you doing? I'm waiting at this rack again. That's pretty much the only time I'm taking videos, when I'm waiting at the rack. I sat here for about an hour yesterday. It's in East St. Louis. It's a busy one. I just talked to another driver from Gemini who had been here since 6:30 this morning, and it's now 9. He just headed out of here. One of the things that I have a hard time with, which only you fuel haulers will, wow, I'm having a hard time with words today. Only will make sense to fuel haulers, but I guess could make sense to other people if you, whatever, words. Anyway, when you come to a fuel rack, there's a variety of different types of fuel that people are picking up depending on where you are. So there's going to be trucks that are picking up diesel, some are picking up gas, some are picking up both, or different types of gas, some are picking up jet fuel. I guess there's like military jet fuel, depending on where you are. It's different everywhere, right? So, and then there's biodiesel, which is at different places than these fuel racks typically. And there's DEF, which is a totally different thing too. A bunch of drivers who are all hauling different stuff will show up, and there's like, say, 5 lanes at a given place, and this lane has diesel, jet fuel, and that's it. And then this lane only has jet fuel, and then this lane has diesel and 87 and 88 and whatever. So we're all here, we're all showing up, everyone just gets in line as they can, like gets to the left of the driver that just pulled in. Then we all kind of have to talk to each other to figure out who goes when, and we're all hauling different stuff, so it gets confusing. It gets really confusing for me, and like I'm not good at knowing what all the placards are yet, so that's how some people are like, oh well, he's placarded for this, he's placarded for that, and I'm like, I just know that I have the right placards on my truck right now, and they're the ones that stay on there most of the time. It's frustrating because there's some guys that come here that are really aggressive. There's certain companies that they'll be like, oh yeah, so-and-so, those guys all are real assholes, and it's like, probably like one or two of them act real aggressive, and so it gives the whole company a reputation or something. But I have noticed the company that that I've heard mentioned a couple of times, and I'm thinking, well, my first thought from being in trucking long enough and just being in the world long enough is when people act like jerks, it's usually because they are under pressure, and it's a financial pressure. So those are the guys that are getting paid by the load. That's why they're acting more aggressive. The people that are getting paid by the mile are probably going to be a little more calm because, well, if I'm, or not the mile, getting paid by the hour. I've been used to saying that phrase for so long that it's like it's like ingrained. But yeah, the people who are paid by the hour are not, they're incentivized to wait a little bit longer and not be as anxious and stressed. So when you're stuck in traffic or you're stuck waiting behind other drivers, you're not sitting there feeling like a tightening in your chest thinking that you're losing money every second that ticks by on the clock. That's no way to live. That's about it. I've been running really hard, running through my entire 14-hour clock the last 3 days. I feel surprisingly energetic, and I think part of the reason why is I started using, I think I might have mentioned this in a different clip, I don't know if I'll use it. I started using that AG1, it's like Athletic Greens, it's a supplement, because they mention it in Van Wives, they spam it, and they have a discount code, and the thing is when I went on the website, I don't even think I did it right. I don't know if I even got the dang discount. I had heard him talk about it enough, I've heard other creators that I follow talk about it, and I know they're all paid promoters, but I also thought it sounded like a pretty solid product. So I've been using it for a few days and I feel pretty good. I feel like I have a little bit more energy than I would expect to have when I've been running so hard and not really able to get as much sleep as I would like to get. So we're in the home stretch of the week though. We've got tomorrow and Friday to knock out, and then I'll be on my 34 and then get back out there on Sunday and try to get as much rest as I can on that 34 and try to get a video out to you guys because I got a bunch of stuff recorded. I just haven't had a chance to like really put it together. So yep, I'll catch up with you guys a little bit later. Okay, I'm a little bit closer to loading. I'm in a spot where I can sit and know that I can see when it's my turn. So that's cool. It'll probably be another like hour-ish in and out of here by the time I get out, or a little over an hour. So not terrible considering when I came in there was a fuckload of trucks. But I just wanted to add to what I was saying about taking the AG1 and having more energy. The other thing that I have said before that I needed to work on was just working on my diet in general. It's a fraught subject for me to talk about diet and stuff. So I'm gonna just give the asterisk that I would appreciate not receiving advice on diet. Because it's a sensitive subject for me, like it is for a lot of people. But I just want to share for other drivers or people who have a similar high demand job that forces you to be sedentary for long hours, because that's what makes me fatigue the fastest, is the fact that I have to sit for so long. On the days when I get out of the truck more often, I have way more energy, like it's just easier. And I think that partly has to do with like blood flow and stuff. But anyway, I'm trying to be better about having more protein. There's times when I just keep eating sugar throughout the day, which I know is going to create a bad yo-yo effect, and it's not really good for keeping yourself energized, but my brain is like, I don't care anymore, just eat it. So at least I try to default to things like these guys. These are one of my go-tos. But I have been doing like little bowls of tuna salad, and I add like a little avocado to it, some mayo, some mustard, so it's like a little bit like a tuna salad, and then I crunch up plantain chips in it. I don't know why, but I really like these. They're from the Cermak. Anything that's Chicago-y, you have to say the first, or duh is more accurate. The Cermak. I didn't say it right, but you know what I'm trying to say. And I'm also making a protein shake. So that's what I'm doing right now, is getting that stuff ready. I have my shaker cup. I've got some regular plant-based protein powder, and I've got some collagen protein. I'll add to that, a little mix of those two things. And then I also have, it's funny, there's a guy brushing his hair in his mirror while he's talking to another guy, and I just think that's cute. Like an older guy with a nice thick head of hair. That's funny. You guys out here are just cute sometimes. You just, I don't know. Anyway, random aside. What was I gonna say? Protein. I may add a little bit of mushroom powder to it, although there is like different mushroom stuff in the AG1 supplement. And then a little bit later I'll have the tuna salad. So that when I eat those things, it definitely helps. It really helps. And I'm just adding this stuff as a reminder. When you're trucking, it's really important to do your best to have convenient, healthy food ahead of time on your truck. And when you have times where you have a break in your day and you have time to do stuff, take that time to prep some stuff so that you can have it when you need it later in the day, and eliminate the need or urge to go to like a fast food convenience situation. Especially you newer drivers, you're going to get gouged at any fast food joint that's on the road. It's going to end up costing you more. But also, none of us wants to be dependent on fast food, right? You don't want to be getting yourself in a habit, which is very easy to do when you're tired and you're just hungry and you're like, screw it, it's convenient, of just grabbing a burger, grabbing fries, grabbing fried chicken sandwiches, like stuff like that. It's going to accumulate on your body. It's going to accumulate in your precious blood vessels and make your heart sad, and nobody wants that. You need to take care of yourself, because people don't think about trucking as an energy drain, and they see a lot of drivers out here that are struggling with their weight, with immobility and health problems related to all of that. It's a weird sort of conundrum that trucking drains your brain. It's a very high focus activity, and the combination of being sedentary and requiring a lot of mental focus can make you very hungry. It's very natural. Your brain burns more calories relative to its weight than anything in your body. Your brain burns a lot of energy, so you need to fuel it with things that keep it going, not make it be stuck in a cycle of, oh, I need more Reese's, oh, I need more Reese's. I don't know anything about that. I'm talking about other people. All right, that's my spiel. I will catch you later. Hi friends, how's it going? It's so quiet. I'm like, I need to whisper. I'm in a Speedco right now. Can you see my new faux brick wall behind me? I freaking love it. It's not done yet. I ran out of the contact paper that I was using. I used the whole roll, but it's really fun. You can't see it that well because I have the phone in cinematic mode, so it's kind of blurs the background, but they sell it at Target. They have all these really nice contact papers. They are a really good type of adhesive that doesn't leave anything behind. It actually like peels off, and so you can like keep moving it around if you need to a certain extent. It's not perfect because it's meant to go on a harder surface like a wall, and this is like a cushioned surface, but it works okay and it looks really cute. I think it does, and it makes it brighter in here, so that's nice. So I'm looking forward to finishing that up. I am sitting at a Speedco right now because I had a flat when I did my pre-trip this morning, and it was fine last night when I did my post-trip, but what I failed to notice, or I saw incorrectly, is there was what I thought was a big rock embedded in between the treads, and it actually, I was like seeing it wrong. It wasn't a rock, it was a huge bolt. It was just that the metal of the bolt had been, ground by rolling over the road, so it was like dull. The surface of it was like dull and white like a rock, so I thought it was a rock, and I didn't even pay attention to it. I was like, oh, there's a rock in there. Because sometimes that's just a thing. It's like, no, that was not a rock, and my tire was flat this morning. I'm really fortunate that right after that happened, I went inside the Loves to ask them what time the Speedco opened, and there was an overnight guy here. I just got incredibly lucky that it's a holiday weekend and there happened to be an overnight guy. This guy, his general demeanor is bedraggled. I'm gonna say that is like the perfect word to describe him. He just seems like he is tired, and like overnight work is hard. He seems kind of down, and it messes with your headspace. So I'm like, oh man, I think you need a hug or something. But I'm so grateful for him. So they're fixing that right now, and I'm not too far away from where I'm going to be picking up a load of fuel, but I haven't been there in a while. I'm in Kentucky. I love Kentucky. It's such a beautiful place, and man, I am like forgetting how the carting in process works. I need to know 2 numbers, and I'm thinking of one of them, and I'm like, am I gonna not remember how to get in the gate here? Because that's one of the things that happens, and other drivers have told me that about like taking notes, because you might go to a place once and then not go there again for a long time and like forget something about it. So there's that. Then the other thing I want to tell you guys, I wish I had taken a little video, but yesterday when I got here and I got out of the shower, I walk out and I see these 2 mechanics walking with this tiny puppy on a leash, and I was like, oh, and I just, my brain would not let me walk all the way to my truck. I had to stop and like stare at the puppy, and then I was like, is that your dog? And they were like, no, we can't find the owner. And I was like, oh, it's a lost puppy. It was like this big. It was some kind of a hound mix, I want to say. It was like a brindle, like white with like a tan brindle, and like little tiny floppy ears. Like I think it might end up having longer ears, but it was just so tiny. It was probably like a couple of months old maybe. I was like, oh my god. And of course my brain starts going, and I'm like, maybe I can you know, I want a dog so bad. But I also, like, even if my company was like, yeah, you can take a dog, sure, even if it was like a no big deal like that, which I don't really think it is, I'll be back. All right, they're doing a couple more things on my truck, and then I'm gonna be out of here, back on the road. I'm seeing a couple of my favorite Freightliner colors that I think are newer colors. I've been noticing there's a bright grapey purple. It looks like a neon purple. There's also like a neon pastel purple that I'm obsessed with. And then there's like it's like neon pastel or lavender. It's so cool. To me, it's cool. And then there's a neon green, like highlighter green. Oh, love it. Anyway, yeah, the puppy was so adorable. Oh my god, she was so tiny, and she was super sweet, but she was nervous, and she had her tail tucked under, and she didn't have a collar on with a tag or anything, but she had a lead on, like she had a harness with a leash. So clearly, like, someone didn't just intentionally leave her. It didn't seem like. I'm like, how did they leave her behind? This morning I asked, it was like one of the first things I asked when I talked to the mechanic, did you hear about the puppy that was here last night? And apparently they found the owner, thank goodness. So she was just so sweet, and I was like, maybe I could take a no. The thing is, I always think when people get puppies, they do not understand what it means to have a puppy, because I've never had a child, you know. I don't have like I don't have experience with infants, but I know that there's the similarity of puppies are always like up at odd hours, and they have to pee all the time, and they're not trained yet, so they're gonna pee in places you don't want them to pee. And yeah, it's not responsible for someone with my work life to have a puppy. It's 100% not responsible. Not to mention my apartment doesn't allow dogs, so I would have to figure that out if I was gonna like go on home time. But my brain likes to go through all these kinds of things because I really, really, really want a dog, and it would make my experience of being out on the road so much better. It seems like it would, but then it's a huge responsibility, and I take that really seriously. So anyway, I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna take a couple minutes and close my eyes before they tell me I'm done, which could be literally any minute, and then I'm gonna hit it. I'll talk to you later.